Hi everyone, this is Margaret Manning with 60andMe, and welcome to a special edition of Mornings with 60andMe. Today I want to talk about one of my favorite subjects, travel. And I've got my sunglasses on here ready to go somewhere nice, hot and sunny. But the research that's recently been done by the AARP on travel trends for boomers is really interesting, and I wanted to share it with you and see whether it lines up with what you've got planned. So they did a really cool infographic which shows 7 boomer travel trends for 2016. And even though we're halfway through it, I think it's still kind of fun to take a look at what they observed and see whether it worked out. So this, by the way, is travel trends for the United States only, because AARP, of course, is a US-based organization for retired people. And even if you're not retired, they're still a good organization to know about. The first thing they say is that people living in the United States, well, 99+% of boomers are going to do some travel somewhere, even to the next town, or just do something for fun. So we all are out there moving around. But 50% in the United States will only travel domestically. That's their statistic. And then 5% will only travel internationally. People that are going to do both domestic and international travel make up 45% of the population of travelers. So that's a kind of interesting one. Another thing is that people are taking more weekend breaks and more short holidays. And I think part of this is because in the United States, the people get like a couple of weeks holiday as opposed to Europe where it's 4 or 5 weeks vacation. So it says here that more people will be taking long weekend breaks. And also multi-generational trips are becoming quite popular. And this is where, grandparents travel with their grandkids, or, kids and their parents, adult children and their parents. And it's really kind of interesting. It's actually down a little bit from 2015, according to AARP, but it's actually still a very positive, strong trend. And Road Scholar actually does a really large number of really beautiful intergenerational trips, so you can check that out on their website and see what's happening in your part of the world. Apparently, whenever we talk about travel, we always ask about what the barriers are, why you feel you can't travel, and cost always comes up in our conversations. But according to AARP, it's close. 51% say that cost is a barrier to travel for people, but I guess it's the balance, 46% say that it is not a barrier, that they will do their best to find ways to travel and find the money. So that's a kind of interesting one. There's a lot of bucket trip holidays where people are ticking things off of their list of places to go. And I've actually got travel. It's a group called, what are they called? Travel and Leisure did a research project on the top cities in the world, and I'm going to cover that in just a second. So stay tuned for that. In general, though, the hotspots are domestically. The hotspots are, number 1, Florida, Las Vegas, California, and New York. Those are the top 4 areas or states that people will travel. Internationally, the top choices for boomers are the Caribbean, Mexico, and England. So those are the top 3 that people in the AARP report say they will visit. One other trend that they highlight, which I think is absolutely important, and I definitely will validate this, is that Wi-Fi is extremely popular with travelers. In fact, it becomes, in many cases, a priority over other things. I, for example, will stay in a lower cost hostel if the Wi-Fi and the internet connection is good, which it tends to be with some of these places that cater to a younger demographic. So Wi-Fi is really important. It says 43% say they must have Wi-Fi in their rental property, in their hotel or rental property. And the other point they make here is Airbnb and some of these home sharing organizations are becoming very popular with boomers. So we're starting to experiment and do things that perhaps are out of character for the older demographic. So those are some of the trends that AARP says are happening in travel this year. And I just want to take a second to go through with you the cities that Travel and Leisure, which is a very well-known travel magazine, says are the top cities to visit in the world. And I think it's in 2016, but in general, they think these are the hot spots. Now, this is kind of interesting because I've never been to this city, but the #1 city in the United States, they say for travelers, is, drum roll, Charleston, South Carolina. And I have heard great things about Charleston and South Carolina in general, but apparently there's a list of criteria that they, that they measured, 79 different, checkpoints, and the coastal setting, the historic history, the value of the historic background, local people who are super friendly, great hotels, and I think just the sheer beauty of nature there. But Charleston wins in Travel and Leisure's list as the top U.S. city. And when you think about then positioning that against other cities in the world, here's the highlight. The second one after Charleston is Chiang Mai in Thailand. I know lots of people who are traveling to Chiang Mai. When I was in Bali, a lot of visitors were coming from Chiang Mai or going to. It's supposed to be an amazing place for English-speaking expats, and a lot of people like to travel there because it's very inexpensive, but it's also beautiful and a great internet, great infrastructure. So Chiang Mai is second. Third was San Miguel de Allende in Mexico. And again, I know lots of women who have moved there full time. Some are artists. There seems to be a very strong artist community there. So San Miguel de Allende is #3. 4, Florence, Italy. Yes, beautiful. Number 5 is Luang Prabang in Laos. And I met people in Bali who had spent a lot of years in Laos. It is one of the least expensive places to stay in the world. It's really incredible. And I've never been to Luang Prabang, but that's number 5 on the list of the Leisure and Travel and Leisure magazine. Number 6 is Kyoto in Japan. I have been to Kyoto. It was a train journey from Tokyo, and really spectacular place. A little crowded because of the beautiful temples. It tends to attract a lot of pilgrims and a lot of Buddhist practitioners, but some of the temples really are exquisite, and the minimalism and simplicity of Japanese architecture just is amazing. Number 7, New Orleans. And I'm hearing this from everywhere that New Orleans is the place to go now. It's bringing itself back to, where it was a few years ago before Katrina. And there's just a lot of beautiful offerings in New Orleans. Number 8 is Barcelona in Spain. Again, amazing city for culture, music, theater, geography, crazy buildings there. I can't remember the name of the gentleman who owns that town in terms of his work. He's no longer alive, but his buildings are scattered all over Barcelona, and a beautiful city. And number 9 goes back to the States, and it's Savannah, Georgia. Savannah, Georgia, never been, have you? It's supposed to be beautiful, and it ranks number 9 in the Travel and Leisure list of great places to go. And then finally, Cape Town is number 10, Cape Town, South Africa. I've seen pictures of Cape Town from the air, and it is exquisite. And apparently there's a lot to do, beautiful place for travelers. It has one of the most sustainable hotels in the world there. And I would like to travel to Cape Town just to experience it for myself. They then go on just real quickly to talk about a few of other top places, other top cities in Canada, for example. Quebec City does really well, number 1, and Vancouver Island is up there. Vancouver is up there as well. In Mexico, in addition to San Miguel, the top island in that area in South America is Galapagos, of course, in Ecuador. In Europe, the top spot, of course, was already listed in Florence, but another one is Ischia in Italy. I've never been to Ischia. It's spelled Ischia, Ischia. Never been there, but Italy has so many beautiful places. It's a spectacular country, and yeah, it did well in the rankings. Philippines does well in Asia for an island to visit. And then Australia, finally. Australia, Sydney is the city that they recommend for everyone. And the top island in that area is in New Zealand, and it's Waiheke Island. Has anybody been to Waiheke Island? I don't know. Oh, I forgot Africa. Of course, there's another, in addition to Cape Town, the top island in that area of Africa and the Middle East is the Seychelles. So that's your 10-minute overview of travel for 60andMe women. I hope you've got some great ideas from that. And what I would love to ask is just a simple question. What is your favorite city in the world? The one that you love? I really would like to get your comments in the section below. If you've been to any of the places that we've talked about here, give a shout out, tell us what you've done, what your experience was, and if there's any tips and tricks that we can share. But I would love to know just the one answer to the question, what is your favorite city in the world? Look forward to hearing back from you. Take good care, everyone. Safe travels, happy journeys, and we'll talk again soon. Take care.